Hello, welcome to FountainFX on Wednesday the 22nd of October 2014. We are looking at the news, specifically because there's major news out on the Aussie, pound, Canadian dollar and the US dollar today, but we're specifically looking at the pound, and the main reason is that the vote today is about whether or not they should or shouldn't increase interest rates. They will then vote as to how much they should increase by after this, but previous 2 months, 2 people, if we look on here, 2 of the members have been voting to increase interest rates, 7 have been voting to say keep it the same. No one has actually said that they should reduce it any further. So it's going to be interesting today to see if that vote remains the same or where it goes, if more people say increase rates, or if those 2 suddenly become part of the 7 and it goes back to 9 again. So we will see what happens. It's quite interesting. People are expecting the pound not to really do anything prior to this, but let's go and have a look at the pound anyway. So here we are looking at the pound on the monthly chart, so high level. This is back where we've got the peak at $2.10 to the pound, was back in January of 2008, and price then promptly fell off a cliff. This was part of the global recession, and the reality was, when all this lending and having to borrow money to prop up the UK economy happened, and the value of the UK just plummeted in a matter of months, and it fell from the $2 up here all the way down to the $1.35 down the bottom here. So over 70 cents in a matter of 1 year. So that was quite incredible, the speed at which that fell at. A lot of people made a lot of money from it, so that may be a case of look at some opportunities should we fall into the same category again, because people are looking at the volatility that happened last week with like 8% drop in the S&P 500 in one day. Those shows that there's starting to be a lack of buyers in the market. The fact that the market has since rallied all the way back up again in the week that's followed is because obviously people are sitting there saying, well, there's now an opportunity to be had in terms of making profit. We've got a clear 8% gain on our trades, so therefore let's now jump on board and buy. And they've made 8% in less than a week, which is an incredible profit to be made on the S&P 500. But be aware that if it dropped by 8% in one day, it means that the amount of buyers out there in the marketplace is starting to disappear. It means that therefore there's more sellers starting to appear and less buyers. So be aware that we might start to see the same volatility that happened back in 2007, 2008. So anyway, where are we on the pound? We are in a sort of middle position. If we look here, the high around about the $1.70, it did push up to $1.71, and the low in this sort of range band, the low has been down at the $1.45. So between the 70 and the 45 is really where the range is, and price is sitting at the $1.61 at the moment. If we go down into a lower time frame, we can see on the daily chart that since this high of the $1.71.50 back in July of this year, the pound has steadily been falling against the US dollar. You can see the nice steps and drops and pullbacks and drops and pullbacks and drops. And at the moment we've got a very strong pullback into a previous area of resistance, and it's broken that trend line. So we're based on technicals, it's saying now's the opportunity to sell. So we should be expecting the pound to show weakness today. So if we go and look at the news, we want to see probably more people looking at wanting to increase the interest rates in the UK, but we want some negative news to come out of the UK basically today, and that's really what we're looking at. If we look here, price has been rallying up in the last few days, probably in an anticipation of this news. We've had a bit of a sell-off at the start of this week. It's now sitting there waiting to see what's going to come out from today's news, but other than that, it looks like at the moment there's an opportunity to sell. It's in at resistance, it's broken the trend line, and we are in a downtrend. So it's like opportunity to go with the trend. So we will see what the news comes out with, but based on the technicals we should be selling. If we go and look at a lower time frame now as well, yeah, we can see from this high here at the $1.6175, we started to sell off yesterday. Prior to that, since the beginning of the month or whatever, for the last week, price has been very much in a nice uptrend. So it's been pulling back, showing some strength on the pound for the first time in a long time, and it's just started ever so slightly to sell off. We haven't really broken through this area of previous resistance down here at the 161. So, but price is sort of bouncing along the side, the side of that at the moment. We're looking at a range band between the 161.09 and 161.30, basically around about a 20-point range. If we look between the highs and the lows, where price has been out there for roughly the last day. So if we're looking at this is 1 hour at a time, so 1, 2, 3, 10, 12 hours. For the last 12 hours price has been range bound. Okay, so we'll look to see whether or not it breaks out before the news comes out, but the news is due out in the next 2 hours, so expectation is that price isn't going to do a lot. It will continue to go sideways, but we shall see exactly what the news chooses to do. If we're looking on the shorter term, we can see that there was a downtrend, and that downtrend has been broken. So, but that's understandable because price is just going sideways. But we want to see whether or not it means there's going to be a continuation up, or if there's going to be a continuation down. So this is a real key opportunity for us to take a trade on the pound US dollar, and we will see whether or not it breaks out of this range this morning off the news. So we want to see what happens. Keep looking, keep watching, and see what opportunities you can make from it. But there's the range from the highs and the lows, and we will see where price wants to go. So news has come out 10:30, and it's no different. The actual is no different from the forecast. So let's just see how it's impacted on price. And looking at the market a few hours later, this is on the hourly chart, we can see here this is when the news was issued up here this morning. So this is the 9 o'clock, it was closed at 10 o'clock, and so when the news came out, no change, no excitement, and price has subsequently fallen. So we've had an 80-point move on the pound US dollar in a couple of hours. So a nice trade to be had. You could have probably taken around about 40 to 50 pips of that. And that's really it. Trading the news, looking at the pound. If you can start to get into this mindset of trading the news, then it's great. Just look for opportunities out there and take the market as it moves. The opportunity here was to wait for the price to break out of the range, because there's no idea which direction it would go in, and it just went south. So thank you very much. That's it from FountainFX. We will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.